Hey there everybody on YouTube land, it's LordBear90 coming at you with an extremely special video review for you guys today. As you can see in front of you, we're looking at the SPM Special Premium Future Tone Natural version of Hatsune Miku. One of the most popular, if not the most popular Vocaloid in the entire world right now. And I say right now as the understatement of the decade, and I literally mean the decade, because in a few months, August 31st will mark the 10th anniversary of Hatsune Miku. Now, you may be asking me, Lord Bear 90, why are you looking at an anime figure when most of your videos are music or Transformers? Well, this is actually going to be one of the first very many changes of my channel. I'm going to actually be toning down on my videos for Transformers. I'm not gonna stop doing Transformers videos, but I'm gonna be toning them down quite a lot. And I'm gonna be focusing mainly on my two more important passions, that being music and anime, or anime related items, such as Hatsune Miku here. Now, she doesn't actually have an anime yet, but I am hoping that one day soon we will eventually get a Hatsune Miku anime. Even if it's a very short one, I would not mind seeing one. Anyway, I'm rambling on. As you can obviously see in front of you, we're looking at a figure of Hatsune Miku. This is the only anime style figure I currently own. But over the years, I do plan on expanding that collection. This just had to be the very first piece to start off with, because in my opinion, who better of a character to start off with than one of the most dominant anime creations in Japan right now? Now, my review for this kind of figure is going to be a little bit different, so please bear with me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can actually get a better look at some of her details, namely from the neck up. Starting at the neck, you can actually see a necklace that I'm not sure if you'll be able to see due to the angle of the light. But it's basically like a chain link necklace. The actual band around the neck is like a string, but the pendant is almost like a chain link. But it's really, really hard to tell because it's such a small detail. Moving up, you can see her mouth is, I want to say fully painted, but it's just an open mouth, so there's really not much to go about there. Right there, you can see her really tiny nose, which I personally find very cute. And then just above that, you can see the biggest and, in my opinion, the best detail of her face, and that would be her eyes behind her red glasses. Her eyes are very, very, I call it like a dirty pink because it's a very toned down pink with a mix of black here and there, which is very anime style. Even down to the little white dots that you can see, which is a very overlooked detail in a lot of anime figures, both statues and Figma figures alike, which it's not a very, very, very important detail, but to me, it's what helps bring the figure more to life, in my personal opinion. I honestly can't tell if that's paint or if that's a tampograph, but if that is paint, if this is paint, whoever did this knows what they're doing, because this is by far one of my favorite details of the figure in and of itself. And just above her eyes are her very, very thin eyebrows. You can just barely see them just above her eyes because they're hidden behind her bangs. We'll actually get to the details of her bangs in a minute. And of course, Hatsune Miku is not complete without wearing some form of her headphones. And for the natural version, she's wearing a very standard red and silver headphones. Let me actually tilt her. Her base that she stands on is fairly wide. You can see the top band, which is it's actually two separate pieces. Let me actually angle the camera up a little bit so you can actually see a little bit better. The silver up here is actually separate from the black band that's actually sitting directly on top of her head. I'm assuming that's to simulate, the more adjustable parts of the headbands or the headphones rather. And of course, Hatsune Miku would not be complete without her signature twin-tailed hairbands that don't actually touch her hair or the side of her head for that matter. She's one of very few characters from Japan that still sports this look to this very day. She's not the first one she's not the first character to use this look, but she's actually one of the more famous ones because of that look. At least in my opinion. Getting a more close-up look here. Let's pan back down here. Oops. One of the absolute smallest bits of detail that they could possibly include. I have to actually raise the camera here. Her fingernails are painted on both hands. All 5 nails. They are so tiny. The fingernails on this figure are so tiny in terms of paint apps. They're smaller than the faces of the Titan Masters from the Titans Returns toy line. That's saying something. And the fact that they did that to all 5 fingernails and still made them look as good as they do, that is saying a lot. Zooming back out. Zooming back out. I'm going to try to zoom out all the way. There we go. As you can see, she's wearing it's not her typical clothing. Obviously, she normally doesn't wear glasses, but in this look, she definitely does. But for this look, she's wearing a white jacket over a black tank top, red and black striped miniskirt with her very signature keychain look, or waist chain, I guess is the proper term. The bottom of the very edge of her skirt has what I guess is the frills. I don't really know that much about skirts, so please bear with me, guys and girls. Tilt her back a little bit. Actually, angle the camera down. Matching all of the black and red look. By the way, black and red are my 2 absolute most favorite colors, which is kind of the main reason why I bought this figure. Not just because of the fact that it's Hatsune Miku, but because of the color layout. Black and red wins for me just about every single time. The only other YouTuber on YouTube that I know that likes black and red just as much as I do would be MGO316. So MGO, if you see this video, shout out to you, my good friend. Anyway, enough rambling. As I said, continuing on with the details, she's also sporting her thigh-high red and black striped tube socks, which are done in a very nice detail. And if you were like here in person and you actually put your finger here, you could actually feel each individual stripe as you went up or down the sock, because they sculpted each and every one in so that when they painted it over, they would look exactly the same every single time. They did that on both legs. And this one is more straight, and this one is more curved, because the way she's actually posed is she's standing on this section of her left foot where her toes connect, as you can obviously see, so that her right hip is actually popped out a little bit. And oops. Oh boy. Oh boy. Bear with me, guys. Technical difficulties. Bear with me. This is actually the first time this has actually happened. Holy. Oh wow. Um, please bear with me, guys. Like I said, this is the absolute first time this has happened. I guess I should have anticipated this, of course, because when I'm doing, like any good YouTuber knows, when you turn on the camera, always expect problems because they can and will happen the very minute you turn on the camera. As you could obviously tell her, these are a very clear, um, I want to say like prongs, but they're more like clear sticks with like a slit in the tops of them. They are designed to hold her twin tails in place because if they were not there, her twin tails would actually be a lot closer to her body, which kind of sort of ruins the look. But in my opinion, it looks more natural. But for the sake of the video and for the sake of, keeping the figure from, getting under a lot of stress, I always keep these under her hair and in the stand. And as you could obviously tell, she's also separate from the stand because her feet actually plug into the bottom of the base, or well, into the top of the base rather, much like her hair holding pieces. Let me actually zoom back in so you can see the details on her shoes. They're not as small as the details on her fingernails, but they're still fairly small. Like, her shoelaces are smaller than my thumbnail. Give you my pinky nail just to add emphasis to that. They're almost this. The shoelaces from the top to the bottom are almost the length of my pinky nail. So yeah, they're fairly small. Not nearly as small as her fingernails. You actually zoom back out a little bit. But they're still fairly small, nonetheless. Angling all the way back up here. Actually push her as far back as you can, or as I can. And I'm going to give you a very quick 360 view of the entire figure. Now, as I said, I paid roughly $35 to $40 for this figure on eBay. Excuse me, on eBay. To me, for this specific figure, I felt that it was worth it because honestly, that was the cheapest I could find it at the time. But if you guys are interested in this version of Hatsune Miku or in even the original version, I would highly recommend it. Any version of Hatsune Miku, I would highly recommend if you can get it for a good price. I highly recommend it because, like I said, if you're watching this and you love anime and you love anime style things, as far as I'm concerned, your anime collection just would not work or be complete without some variant of Hatsune Miku in there. Whether it's a statue like this, whether it's a Figma figure, which those are a lot more expensive, whether it's a little Nendoroid figure, which I'm actually looking into at some point, or any other, or hell, it doesn't even have to be a figure. It could be a DVD, it could be a poster, it could be anything. And at this point, I'm not even really talking about Hatsune Miku. I'm talking about anything anime related. It doesn't have to be a figure of any kind. It could be a prop from the show. It could be a poster. It could be a DVD, a VHS if they still sell those, which in some places, if you know where to look, they still do. It could even be a song or a CD for all I care. If you collect anime, I would recommend collecting some. I would recommend adding this to your collection. Any variant, whether it's this one, the Infinity version, which I'm actually looking into at some point, whether it's the racing versions, which, as far as I know, there's at least 4 now, or even her magical Mirai versions, which I think are very very extravagant in terms of detail. I honestly would not recommend paying the current price tags on those figures because they're still relatively expensive. I would wait till they like go on clearance or at least marked down somewhat. But anyway, enough rambling aside, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Future Tone Natural Version SPM Special Premium Hatsune Miku figurine. I highly recommend it, as I've said numerous times, and if you can find it for a good price, get it and add it to your anime collection. So, with that being said, this is Lord Bear 90 signing off for now, and remember, if you are not true to yourself, you are not true to the world.